Alrighty. So this is like my fourth try at this video, and we're gonna try to not only get it to work properly, but we're gonna try to get this up online, and maybe we could do something. So Stephanie, she made me aware of Proposition 56 in California. I live in the New York City area. There's basically no reason why I should care if someone should be paying taxes in California. But let me explain to you why I'm so interested in Proposition 56. While it is not the most dangerous bill against vaping, Proposition 56 puts taxes on electronic juice in the state of California just for juice with nicotine in it. It seems that a few organizations feel that nicotine causes cancer and that nicotine is very harmful in smoking related illnesses, and as such, we need to ban vaping or make it so that the ones who vape and the ones who smoke cigarettes, I mean, that's also part of the bill, cigarette tax increases. But the ones who pay, the ones who smoke or the ones who vape should be the ones who pay for their medical bills. And I'm not going to sit here and say that those that don't do things that are harmful to themselves shouldn't have to pay. But the problem with adding taxes onto vaping products is that whether it's just e-juice or whether it with nicotine in it or it's other gear and other stuff, is it makes these products eventually unaffordable to people whom are the working poor and the indigent. For example, I am a disabled veteran, and as such, it is very hard for me to work full time. I cannot work full time. It's an impossibility. I try to take odd jobs. Sometimes I do take on the book jobs as long as I can work 20 hours or less. But as a result, my income is very limited. At the end of every month, the last week of every month, people like myself, people who are on disability, people who are working minimum wage, and believe it or not, there are many jobs out there that are off the books. People are working for a lot less than minimum wage. They make so little money that to add taxes to a product, a nicotine replacement therapy product that reduces harm. It is, the organization I spoke to admits that it's harm reduction, but that it's still harm in their eyes, and they feel that nicotine causes cancer and that nicotine kills. That they are on a rampage now to add taxes, not just to the state of California, but all over the United States. There are many states, like in Pennsylvania, that have 40% vape tax. Such a tax is a huge burden on those that are trying to quit smoking cigarettes, like myself. Almost a year ago, just in a few days, I'll have 1 year without a cigarette. It is all because of products like this. Products like this saved my life, okay? But such products, at least in the New York City area, is very expensive for someone like myself. Half the products I own, I did not buy myself. Either someone bought them for me, or I purchased them. But a lot of products I didn't even buy because I can't afford to buy these products. It's why I'm also buying a lot of products online. I cannot buy them and support my local vape shops because these products are way too expensive for me in brick and mortars. But I try very hard once or twice a month to at least buy some juice from my local shops to help keep them open. Okay, they deserve to stay open. They do a tremendous job in giving back to the community and teaching safety and teaching how, what flavors might be best for you. They go well out of the way to help somebody, and it's bad enough that these new deeming regulations kind of tie their hands, but on certain things of what they could do. But these vape taxes are getting out of hand, and they're coming to a state near you. That's really my whole point. That we need to go ahead and start making phone calls. Not so much to the ones who already know about vaping or already care about vaping, the ones who are sympathetic to us. We don't need to speak to them. They're already sympathetic to us. We need to talk to them and talk to about how what we need to do in order to fight for our right to vape, for our right to be smoke free. But these people are on our side. These people are the ones that are helping us. They're the ones that are helping to spread the message. And I'm not just talking about Safada and Kasa. I'm talking about other health organizations, legitimate health organizations that really do want to help us. Even the Mayo Clinic. You call up the Mayo Clinic. You speak to anyone in their PR or in their law offices or whatnot. And they'll talk to you, they'll tell you, that we need to keep fighting for our rights to be smoke free because they're on our side. Many of these organizations, I know, I do a lot of community service. Also, I do a lot of volunteer work, a lot of community service in my neighborhood. And I'm sitting here telling you, these people are on our side. A lot of people are on our side. Even those that don't like vaping, once they've met me, once they see me, once they understand, they're on our side. Okay? They're on our side. They don't have a problem. But we have organizations such as the California Association of Hospitals and Health Systems. And this appears to be a very good organization that cares about its people. But the California Association of Hospitals and Health Systems is the number one promoter of Prop 56. I called them just a few days ago, just a couple of days ago, and actually I made a lot of phone calls to them. They gave me the runaround. They would not take my calls. They would not, listen to me. They did not want to speak to me. And let me tell you a little bit of my story of what happened and why it's so important that we get more and more involved before a tax on vaping comes to your state. And if a tax on vaping is already in your state, then you already know the consequences. You already know the damages that these cause. But just in case you don't, please be aware that in most cases, vaping is not cheaper than cigarettes. I mean, we're vapors. We know. And because they're not cheaper than cigarettes, people have to then explain to their husbands or wives or to their family members why they're now spending even sometimes, not all the time, sometimes vaping is cheaper, but in many cases we now have to explain to our loved ones why we're spending more money on than just on cigarettes, okay? And why it's so important. And it creates a lot of confusion. But the real seriousness of the matter is people like myself, people who are far worse off than me. Believe me, I'm okay, all right? I'm right on that fine line. I'm okay. But if they put a vape tax in the city of New York, I'm telling you right now, I'm not going to be able to buy from a brick and mortar again, not even some juice. I buy anywhere from 3 to 6 bottles of juice a month for my vape shops, for my local vape shops, and I'm sitting here telling you, I can't. I mean, I occasionally bring others into these vape shops so they could buy new gear to make sure that, they're buying the proper gear and stuff like that. And, oh, you're buying your first RDA? Here, let me come with you to the vape store and we'll pick you out a nice RDA. I can't do that. Not with many of these people. The people I'm with, they work 40 hours a week. They're not lazy. They're not a bunch of bums. They work so hard. They give back so much to the community, and they come home with nothing. They come home with barely enough to pay their rent or to pay they have nothing. They don't have cars. They don't have money for clothes. They don't have nothing. And how are you going to just take more money out of the people who are that dirt poor? The ones who smoke the most in society are the poor and the indigent. And you're taking this money from them. And for what? For what? To help pay for their health care? No one's ever gave me money whenever I've gone to the hospital. I have smoking-related illnesses. I paid the highest taxes in the entire United States on cigarettes. I was just outside yesterday, $12.50 for a pack of cigarettes right here in my local bodega, okay? In my local stores, $12.50. You cannot tell me that I didn't put all this money into some fund, and if I go to the hospital or if I go to my doctor for a smoking-related illness, nobody gave me any of that money back. Nobody gave my doctor any of that money back. Nobody gave the hospital any of that money back. And don't tell me, oh, well, it did go to the hospital. Nah, not really. Sort of like that meme that Stephanie posted up. Only a small amount, 12%, 15%. Some of my boys in California are telling me it might even be as low as 12%. So maybe that meme is 100% accurate. Maybe as low as only 12% will go to actually needy causes. The rest will go to special interests and corporations. And the special interests that they're talking about is the California Association of Hospitals and Health Systems. You see, this money then gets divided up. That the taxes then get divided up and then goes to these special interests that promote these style of taxations and other things that actually harm our vaping community and harm the actual poor and harm the actual, the ones that need it the most. The ones that are so dirt poor, the ones that are so indigent that they're the ones that need it the most. They barely get anything, certainly not compared to the California Association of Hospitals and Health Systems. So anyway, I've been calling them for days. Give me just a second here. A little quick vape. Alrighty. So I've been calling them for days. And believe it or not, on my last phone call, because I was not getting through. Nobody cared. Nobody wanted to hear it. And nobody wanted to speak with me. Nobody wanted to hear a different point of view. And so this is what I was doing. I was calling them up, and I was giving them my name. I was asking them why my brothers and why the CAHSS is promoting Proposition 56 and why I should vote yes. Okay? I kept saying to them, every time I made a phone call, I'm calling why you support Proposition 56 and why my brothers and sisters in the state of California should vote yes on Prop 56. And nobody was returning my calls. Nobody was wanting to answer me. Nobody wanted to speak to me. On the third day of a lot of phone calls calling them, I finally just broke down and started going on and on why it's so important that vapors have the right to stay smoke free. And I went on giving this secretary a lot of information uh, that you and I already know. All right. And, while she told me, hey, she's only a secretary, she's only a secretary, she's only a secretary, she didn't hang up. She didn't hang up, and she listened to every word I said. Whereas before she would have hung up, okay? And eventually I got off the phone with her. An hour later, my friend picked me up from my house. I had to go to a few meetings, some community meetings or whatever, to discuss some other business. And I tell him what happened. And he pulls the car over immediately by a fire hydrant, and he says, give me the phone number, give me the name of the organization, give me the person's name, and whatever. And I told him that, if anything, they'll give you this guy's name. His name is Mike Roth. I do not believe it's the same Mike Roth from Arkansas's Congressional 4th District. I do not believe it's him. But it could be him. It could be him now wanting to run in the state of California for whatever position, and he's trying to have a worthy cause to say, "Hey, you see, I'm now fighting cigarette smoking, and I'm fighting cancer, and I'm here for the public." It could be him. It could very well be him, but I don't think it's that Mike Roth. There's a million Mike Roths in the United States, okay? It's probably not him. But it could be him. I mean, that's how a lot of these politicians work. They take up a needy cause, they do a little thing, they say, hey, you see, I did good for you in the state of California, vote for me, blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? And so on. Well, my friend called, and she must have been so sympathetic that she went ahead and actually patched him through directly to Mike Roth. She didn't give him Mike Roth's phone number like she gave me. She didn't she didn't try to say, oh, no one's available. She actually patched him directly through to Mike Roth. And that's when I came on the phone. Mike Roth did not want to speak with me. He told me that he had to leave the office right now and that his assistant will come on the line and give me any information that I wanted. And I said, thank you so much. And that's when I spoke for 25 minutes with Mike Roth's assistant. And could you imagine speaking to someone whom, well, let me say it like this. You know how we read all these vaping articles, batteries blowing up, and how smoking is bad and vaping is no better, and all these anti-vaping rhetoric nonsense? Well, it's like they gave this man all that information and told him that it was the truth too. And so no, and while I tried to explain things to him from like a scientific standpoint, from a community standpoint, giving him facts and figures and things and this and that and whatnot, one of the things that we could not, under any circumstances, come to an agreement or an understanding of is the harm that nicotine does. He believes that nicotine causes cancer, that nicotine kills. And because nicotine kills, that the tax on e-juice is justified because these people, in his eyes, are, instead of reducing harm on themselves, are actually in the way of stopping smoking. They're reducing harm. He feels that they aren't reducing harm; they're causing more harm. He feels that he has no problems with e-juice that has no nicotine in it. Zero nicotine, He says, go right ahead, vape it, do what you got to do. But the moment you have nicotine in it, you're doing something harmful to your body that causes cancer and other smoking related illnesses. Okay? And he feels that we should be heavily taxed, far heavier than what this law will be. And what that tells me is that this is just the beginning for California. Just like Proposition 65 put on scare tactics onto retail bottles, claiming that the ingredients contained within has been proven to cause cancer. That's a very big scare tactic. Okay, you may believe that that's not true. I may believe that that's not true. But whether it's true or whether it's false is irrelevant. That proposition is a scare tactic to prevent people from even thinking of picking up anything vape related in order to help stop smoking. And considering that I'm someone that's been on the patch twice, I've been on the gum twice, at least. I mean, from my memory, I could have been on 3 times each. And I've been on Chantix twice. Okay, I've not only been on Chantix once, which was very hard to get on because of the side effects are very dangerous. Imagine me trying to get on Chantix for the second time, how hard it was. That's how addicted I am. That's how hard it is for me, a normal, typical human being. I'm not some bad guy. I'm not some horrible guy. And I can't stop. I can't. I know I can't. I've tried too many times, cold turkey and everything else. So we talked, Mike Roth's assistant and I. But my final question to him was, and here's the point of it all, my final question to him was that if nicotine is so dangerous and such a killer in the state of California, why does this proposition doesn't target the patch and the gum? How come pharmaceutical companies are exempt from this taxation? Why are these products even on your shelf if they are so harmful to the public? And that's when you heard Mike Roth's voice in the background say, hang up, and the phone conversation was over and done with. So I'm going to say it like this. The California Association of Hospitals and Health Systems is probably generally a good organization. But in my mind's eye, this is an organization that is probably one of millions around the United States right now that are really front companies to large pharmaceutical companies and industries that literally try to persuade the public to promote their pharmaceutical goods. So in other words, the California Association of Hospitals and Health Systems will probably get a large, and I mean very large percentage cut of the vaping tax that the people in the state of California will have to pay. They will probably get a very, very large percentage of that vaping tax. That's to pay for Mike Roth and his assistant. That's to pay for the secretary that I spoke to on the phone and eventually kind of made her sympathetic to our cause. And that's exactly why my friend was able to patch through. My last phone call, and here's another point I'm trying to make. My last phone call may have sounded, oh, Harry, why did you do that to the lady? Why did you just go on and on? Why did you make her feel bad? Why did you, Harry, the way you made her feel, you probably made her want to maybe quit her job. Okay, and? I don't want nobody to lose their job. I don't want nobody to get fired. Okay? But if she now decides, Thursday or Friday morning to start looking in the papers and start looking online and start looking in her community to find a different job because she figures out that her organization is actually hurting her community, not helping her community, is that a horrible thing? Is that a horrible thing? I don't think it is. I don't think it is. Maybe today it's Friday. Maybe today, or excuse me, it's Saturday. Oh boy, lack of sleep here. So think about it. So maybe yesterday, in the break room or in the lunchroom or wherever she's sitting down and maybe talking to some of her coworkers. Maybe she's asking questions. Maybe she's trying to find out answers. Maybe she goes, hey, maybe you and I could go into our cars and go see that movie that this crazy guy from Brooklyn, New York is calling me about, and how the pharmaceutical industry is trying to ban vaping worldwide. So there's not much to my story. Clearly, it's in the hands of California voters whether they want to vote no for Proposition 56. Hopefully, we could get the word out that Proposition 56, with all the good intentions in its heart that it has, actually has side effects like certain medications that can, it has these side effects that can help the ones who need it the most. The poor and the indigent, the ones who smoke the most cigarettes within their communities, they're the ones that are going to be harmed the most by this vaping tax. And I'll be honest with you. I'm asking you, even those who don't live in California, to please take 5 minutes of your time. Call the California Association of Hospitals and Health Systems. I'm going to put links in below. Okay, I'm going to put links, or not really links below. I'm going to put links below and everything else to the California Association of Hospitals and Health Systems. Okay, their phone number is 916-443-7401. I'll repeat that, even though I'm going to put it down in below or whatever. I'm going to have it available for you. But the phone number again for California Association of Hospitals and Health Systems is 916-443-7401. All I'm asking you to do is really call up, say, my name is so-and-so. I see that you support Proposition 56. Why should I, or why should my brothers and sisters in the state of California vote yes for Proposition 56? Again, she's just a secretary, but hopefully she will patch you through to the legal department. She will patch you through to Mike Roth. Okay? If you'd like. Now, I'm not telling you what to say. But if you'd like, and you are willing to speak with Mike Roth, please tell them your experience with vaping. Tell them how it saved your life. Tell them how it's going to hurt those much less advantaged as you are, and that they will be harmed the most. They will have the least amount of opportunities to quit smoking. Okay, that we are on the same side. We want smokers to stop smoking. We are on the same side. It's just that you helped attack us now. Those that are on your side. That's how I explained it to them. We're on their side. We want people to stop smoking. We want them to have an opportunity to stop smoking. But if you could speak to Mike Roth, and I'm going to give you his phone number now, too. Mike Roth's phone number is 916 444 7170. I'll repeat it again. Mike Roth is the man's name. His phone number is 916 444 7170. Okay, so if you don't want to speak to the secretary at all, you want to skip that step, and I don't have a